Yeah. You're now watching another classic episode of the Black Shield podcast on the I Am Beast Network. I'm your host, Ernest Xcalibur Miller out of South Carolina. I'm here with my brother Dre out of Cincinnati.
What's going on?
My brother Rasheed Lightford out of ATL Shawty. Hey guys, today's topic, make sure you guys, it's going to be a tearjerker. All right, so if you're sensitive, man, go get your Kleenex. Go get you a bottle of champagne, wine, whatever you drink. Just sit back and relax. Get some peanuts. Maybe you want to watch HGN-TV or something. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get a little sensitive today because we're talking about mental health and law enforcement. Guys, you know, we all been through some stuff. You got what, 30 plus years?
30 plus years.
You retired?
Yes, sir.
I know you got 30 plus years.
20 plus, yeah.
20 plus?
20
With
plus.
20 plus
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
I got 14. Combined, we got a lot of years, guys.
Yeah.
All right, we seen some stuff. We heard some things dealing with families, children, collisions, whatever. What's you guys' thoughts on the mental health and law enforcement? We'll start with you, Dre.
Man, mental health is not addressed enough, number one.
Word.
It's a serious situation dealing with police officers. I always say that police officers are schizophrenic. You wake up in the morning, you kiss your family, your wife goodbye. You do your normal chores for that morning or afternoon shift. You leave, then you transition to a job. You change into a uniform. You put on a gun belt. You stand in roll call and now being inspected to make sure you have your proper equipment on for the day. You go in and then sit in roll call, and your supervisor now tells you there's been so many homicides, DUIs, look out for this stolen car, this is what's going on for the day. You get in your police car, immediately out of roll call could be a homicide, domestic violence, auto accident, and you taking care of all that in the shift starting out the gate. And you deal with that as the day goes, and they expect you to be able to just shake that off, come back the next day, go home to your family and act normal. And this is why mental wellness is so deep, that the police departments are not taking it serious enough.
Bro, that sounds like the first 2 hours of my shift.
Yeah.
The 12-hour shift. That sounds like the first 2 hours. What about you, Sheed?
Yeah. Been in several situations where, I went to, I was actually minding my business, a sheriff deputy here in Indianapolis. I was working here in Indianapolis during that time. I saw him blow past me with no lights on. His emergency equipment was not on. And then within about 10 seconds, I heard him on the radio, like frantic. And I'm like, what is this? So I busted a U, got behind him. He didn't hit a cat, hit a dude. Whoa. So all I saw the guy on the ground. I didn't want to look at him. You know what I'm saying? And I saw the sheriff's vehicle. The windshield was crushed in, so where the guy came in on the passenger side. And it turned out to be a FTO training a rookie. The rookie was eating damn turkey Reuben. So the body comes in on him while he's eating his sandwich and flips over the light bar, busts the light bar, and he's dead, right? So, I checked on the deputy. I'm like, yo, what's y'all good? And he's in shock. And I go look at the body, and it's like, yo, I've never seen a body at that point in my career. I had never seen a body that badly destroyed.
Right.
Yeah, he was gone. I mean, when the fire department came, one of the lieutenants got on the radio and said, hey, we need a light truck, the light wagon, because there's pieces we can't find.
Right.
It was bad.
Right.
Wow.
And I can remember driving home, not even having home, because I was still on shift. So I remember driving away from that scene. And I didn't realize, but I was only driving 30 miles an hour.
Wow.
I looked at it and I just realized I was in a zone. I was just stuck.
Yeah.
Right.
And I looked down, yeah, man, I'm driving 30. I'm like, oh, I'm going to speed up a little bit. And then I was expected to continue my shift. After seeing a human being done that way. And expected to do my shift. And I think I want to say I even attempted to take a break. And they're like, yo, we got calls pending. We got to get to it.
Right.
Yeah, you know. And that was like insensitive on my supervisors.
Exactly.
But you expected to continue to perform, continue to work.
On that note, for both of you guys, how as a supervisor, how should we, when our officers experience this tragedy that we see on a daily basis, like it's normal, like we watching TV, how do we how do we get help for our officers? How do we do that?
First of all, most departments these days have things in place as far as counseling, things like that. They have peer counseling, where it's just, officer to officer. Then they have professionals also that counsel. But I think, as especially a first line supervisor, when you realize that and you see that in your officer, pull them immediately.
Word.
Pull them. I don't care how many calls you got pending. I don't care what you got going on. You take the time to pull him offline. Hey, go ahead and down that gear. Let's go talk about it. Give him some days if he needs it. Because you see he's just spazzing out. He's upset in roll call. Something's going on.
Right.
Sometimes you don't even let him start the shift. Right. And then you do report that. Like, you cannot. Back in the day, again, like we said earlier in another episode, they sweep it under the rug.
Right.
But these days, you gotta report that, because suicide amongst law enforcement personnel is stupid high.
Stupid high. Yeah.
And then how would you feel? When I see you, X, you one of my guys, and I see, man, X is in a bad way today, and I'm like, man, but he's a trooper. He gonna get through with his strong brother. He gonna make it through. And then brother go home, and then we get that call. He didn't kill himself.
Right.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
most of the time, and that's why I mentioned that police officers are the biggest mask wearers, cover up artists, specialists you've ever seen. Because how often does an officer actually say, man, I need help?
Right.
So if they don't tell a supervisor they need help, and the supervisor flags them the wrong way, then that supervisor can be liable for just saying, hey, I'm taking you off because I feel you acting like this, and the person saying, what you talking about? I'm good to go.
Right.
And so that's the problem that you really see is officers able to mask and cover this whole process up, that they screaming for help,
Right.
and they don't know really how to go about it, because it shows that you weakness.
Right.
Man, I'm weak. If I'm look at brother X, strong brother. Look at you, Major, strong brother. Brother Dre, strong brother. I look like asking somebody for help. I'm up here going to a run, telling you how to handle your business.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you, my brother, he kind of made me see that I probably need some counseling. In law enforcement, we see stuff that seem light to us. Gonna seem, you talk to a civilian about it, they're gonna be like, you think that's funny?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I told you guys a story about July 2nd, 2020, when that 7-year-old got killed in the fatal. Also, I worked another wreck about a mother was texting and driving, ran into the back of an 18-wheeler. 2-year-old daughter got ejected.
Wow.
And landed on the ground, head first on the ground.
Wow.
I worked another wreck where the guy just riding his own property. He was drunk, but just riding around his own property, hit a tree, the branch fell on the top of his truck, crushed him. I had to take pictures of that. Go in the truck and take pictures of that.
Wow.
Right.
And I'm telling my family, my brother about this, and I'm kind of, not with the kid, but I'm kind of laughing and saying the comedy way, and he's like, bro, you need help.
Yeah.
You need help. This is not normal.
Right. In law enforcement, we mask it with humor. A lot of people can relate when you look at on the news and you see a live scene and you see officers kind of standing back, kicking it up, laughing up, and it's a tragedy.
Right.
And it's not that they laughing at the tragedy, and that's another thing I guess we have to explain to people. We are here to educate you and give you things based on our experiences, but you have to understand when you see this day in and day out, sometimes that's the only way you can cope. They do say law enforcement or police officers have the worst sense of humor. They got a morbid sense of humor.
Right.
Because we joke about the silliest, craziest thing.
Yeah, man.
You laugh like, damn.
We got a dark sense.
Yeah, we got a dark side.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's how you cope. I remember something in Indianapolis happened. I guess I can talk about it. It's in my department, so fuck it. So they were chasing a guy, and they ended up having to shoot this guy. And the officer said, it'll be a closed casket, homie.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
And they like,
I heard that.
yeah.
I heard that.
Yeah, and it's
before.
like, they like, oh, you should have said it. But the thing about this, look, you understand, this dude was shooting at them too.
Right.
Yeah.
And we expected to be shot at, and then we expected that this is big. This is real big. I need a little bit on topic, a little bit off topic. It's on topic. We are expected that if we get into a situation where someone is trying to take our lives and we get the best of them, we are to go render aid. And this man just tried to kill me. Now I have to go, because if I don't go render aid,
Right.
That's
I
gonna
can
be another
be
problem.
sued,
yeah.
Right.
maybe even charged.
Right.
Right? So think of the mind, how your mindset is on that.
Correct.
Because typically as a human being, you try to harm me, F you.
Right.
But you have to go render aid. So brother said, hey man, it'll be a whole closed casket, homie.
Hey, What do you guys think about officers that when we dealing with these tragedies, it seems like they don't faze them? You know, like they very bland, straight face. Oh well, shit happens.
Well, once again, that's the cover up that I don't want you to see my vulnerability.
But what if they really don't care?
I don't think that's the point, because they had to get to a point of not caring, because you even start to see if they had things dealing with their own family that they sometimes can completely just break down, or certain issues that occur in that process. There's always a caring spirit, behind even any hard shell. But they have to go from micro to macro to get to that point.
Right.
I don't think in my career I've ever seen a young rookie cop not be uncomfortable when they first seen it. Like, man, that was deep, that was uncomfortable. A young rookie, we went to a scene where a young kid, 10 years old, shot his 5-year-old brother, and it troubled the officers, and a lot of them was young, and it troubled them, and that was a normal response. So it's the ones that's been on like deep in my career, where you start getting 10, 15, 20 sometimes, it's, man, are you emotionless or what's going on? Because we've done these runs so many times in repetition. Baby deaths. People don't realize that law enforcement officers usually are the first responders that, besides fire, that they go in and die and say, oh, this person is DOA, dead on arrival, in a house. They could have went to died overnight or what have you. We as officers got to go in and do the paperwork.
Right.
So so now we in people's houses, and that's straight from roll call. That's why I said you can leave and go from one extreme to the next. Now I'm sitting in the living room all day doing paperwork next to this body, consoling the family, not knowing what has happened with your own issues that day. That's not normal.
Yeah, that's not normal. You're right.
You sit there waiting for the coroner's office to release the body. Yeah,
correct.
And people don't realize that most time, like you just said, most time street level cops are the first to get there. You're the first to get to those scenes, and have to disseminate what's going on. I went to a scene. It was a shots fired call last month, and I was close, and I took the call, and I go in, and turned out not to be a shots fired call. It was shots fired in a previous time. So they said, well, he's upstairs on the floor. He's dead. I think we can smell him. I said, okay, he's been there for a minute.
Right.
So I walk upstairs, and I smell him immediately when I hit the stairs. And I go in.
That's a tough smell, right?
Oh, brother.
Man, that's a smell. That's a smell you can't shake for days,
You can't
man.
shake. It's in your nose.
Yeah.
You really can't explain. You think you smell a dead dog or a deer. It's different. It's a different smell with a human being, but it sticks to you. I mean, so, I go and I see the dude, and he's on his back, blood out. You tell it's old. He killed himself. You see that empty bottle of liquor on the thing, and you clear. It's a clear. We call it a 52. It's a clear suicide.
Right.
He's definitely 49, which we call a dead body. And I'm just in my mind thinking, I've seen this time and time again, but I was thinking to myself, damn, what was so bad that drove this brother to do that?
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? What drove him to do that? And then I'm thinking of my own mortality at that point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then I can remember even questioning myself, like, this don't even bother me. I'm ready to go eat. Cause I wouldn't eat. Like, it didn't bother me, but I'm like, damn, but shit, it bothered me.
And that's the crazy part, man. I worked, I was on my way home. My supervisor called me and said, hey, man, check on this vehicle. It was sitting on the side of the road, I-95, for about a couple hours. Had people calling about it. Checking on him. He's on your way home. Went to go check on it. It's middle of July, hot as hell. I get out the car. I'm thinking it's a dead deer or something nearby. I see somebody slumped over. I'm thinking they're reaching for something. So I'm pulling, yelling out commands. Hey, show me your hands, show me your hands, show me your hands. Now, I lied last episode, said I never pulled my gun out. I did pull my gun out this time because I wasn't sure what he had. Just thought about this now, telling the story.
Right.
So I pulled my weapon out. Hey, show me your hands, show me your hands. I'm approaching the vehicle, yelling.
Right.
Dude slumped over, blew his head out. Blew his head off.
Right.
Called for the sheriff department to come out here. They did what they did. I took it 10-8, me and I cleared scene, went home. Man, had me some pizza and talked to my wife. Laughing and talking about the situation.
See?
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he see nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. And how do you deal with? So as a human being, what does that say? You know what I'm saying? What does that say about us as human beings?
We need help, brother.
Yeah.
We need counseling, man. Because this ain't normal.
So what does that look like for us and those in law enforcement that say, man, I really want to help, but number one, I want to keep it confidential, and I don't want everybody in my business, and that's why I'm actually going to take a chaplaincy course, because I understand that officers are very secretive. They don't want to tell and share too much information.
Right.
And with strangers and people that they even get in front of, they're not going to be totally honest.
Right.
So I said, let me take a chaplaincy course, present this back to our department,
Right.
and just say, me understanding the gravity of individuals and how they move, and to look for those particular warning signs. But we first, man, we have to be in a position to, number one, if anybody is involved, what I call a high-speed chase, adrenaline move,
Right.
going to a scene with dead bodies,
Right.
a shooting, domestic violence that involves, children and even adults where it was a physical harm, that officer should be in a position to what I call detox.
Yeah.
Put them in a quiet detox room. I said every police station should have number one, they should have some kind of spa workout center.
Wow. Yeah.
And they don't.
Yeah.
And they take it for granted. Like, man, you know what? You just went on 100-mile speed chase, chased a person through the woods, did all this stuff, maybe shots fired. Man, your adrenaline is going through the roof.
Through the roof, bro.
You know
Yeah.
what? Why don't you go over here? We got an on-duty nurse. We're going to get your blood pressure stuff checked. Because why would we send you back out in the field?
Right.
Yeah.
To come down off of a situation? And these are the things I think that needs to start first. Is departments need to take better care of their officers after a significant high adrenaline situation, and allow them to detox first.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it a step further. Hold on, Rasheed.
Yes, sir.
You're a major on this also.
Yes, sir.
Me and my wife, because we was just talking about mental health and law enforcement, and I was saying, like, I wonder why a lot of these guys don't talk to someone that definitely need to talk to someone. Cause I got an outlet. I got a podcast. My outlet is podcast and also training.
Okay.
That's my outlet. That's how I get over it. I don't like I told you, when I'm off, I'm off. I don't think about it. But my wife brought up a good point. She said, you ever thought about maybe they don't want that on their record, that they seen a psychologist, they trying to get a promotion? Their superior might see them as weak.
Well, it's not going to be on their record. It's confidential. They can't see it.
Well, depending on how it goes about how you go about it, right? Because if I come and say, hey, I said something's going on with Buddy, he needs to go see somebody.
Right.
Now it's going somewhere. It's gonna be written down somewhere. Right. So, but if you do it confidentially, of course, but kind of hitting on what you were talking about, like a quiet room or something like that, that's a great idea. We don't have that, but guess what? We're about to have one. Right. You know what I'm saying? That is a great idea. And I think that for smaller agencies, they probably need to maybe partner with agencies that have something like that.
Right.
Because, even though we all police, we still have different agencies and different departments, and you still have a you don't share everything, right?
Right.
But I think that is something that is will be beneficial to everybody. Also, Shamley, I believe it's not Shamley, it's Dunwoody Police Department. No, is it Dunwoody? Brookhaven. It's Brookhaven.
Okay.
Brookhaven in Georgia. Brookhaven PD. We went on a meeting. They have a situation with some canines. They're like support type of animals. And they're now, right. When officers get involved in traumatic situations, they bring the dog to the scene.
Correct.
And it comforts the person.
Right.
And it works because whether you're a dog person, cat person, or not an animal person at all, it's something calming about an animal, and they can sense your fear. Like this, my wife's dog is I seen her jump over a little bit ago.
Right.
She maybe feels my anxiety because talking about this is deep. And she jumped over and was touching me for it.
Right.
And it instantly calmed me down.
See.
You see that? It instantly calmed me
That's
down
real.
just for her to touch me like that.
That's real.
So big ups to that police department because they have went that step further to build a program for that. And it's for also citizens as well. When citizens, they come in contact with citizens who have traumatic situations, they bring the dogs to the citizen special unit they got. So big up to that department. But that's something I think that and I don't know what the state has. 'Cause I know state got all kind of stuff. They got the money, but that's a great program.
We basically have the same thing pretty much. We have counselors though. They do provide counselors for us. But back to my original question, you as a major, and you can answer direct. What would you do if your officer, if he does have some mental stuff going on due to the job, and the counselor has to report it? As a major, how will you handle that?
I mean, me personally, I'm not going to ding them for it.
Gotcha.
I'm going to you know, commend them for getting that done, because I mean, look, you saving your life, you saving your wife's life, you saving your fellow officer's life. Because I feel like crap if I know that and continue to let him, you know, survive, or let him work, and he hurt somebody and get somebody hurt. So as a major, I'm not going to look down on it. I'm not going to make sure that we have every, you know, apparatus available to them for their mental health.
Right.
Because, you know, I've known people, you know, personally, officers who have killed themselves. We get the call like, man, he's dead. He shot himself. I'm like, what?
Wow.
I just saw him, you know.
Wow.
So I've experienced that personally. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So knowing that, I'm not going to dean that officer. I'm going to commend him, and I commend any officer, you know what I'm saying, that steps up and says and admits, hey, I need a little help. I need some help.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you got issues, man. I'm sure you guys can relate. I had one officer here, and I can tell you a whole story how I led up to it, but long story short, he took his family hostage.
Right.
Dang. He took his family hostage. And,
was he on any kind of medication, anything?
No,
or
he was just another officer got killed in the line of duty. He did something that he could have prevented it. Real quick. As a drunk driver, he had an opportunity to take that driver off the road and didn't.
Right.
And let him go. And the drunk driver immediately left the scene.
Yeah.
And within a few minutes, you heard that officer got struck by the vehicle,
right,
pushed her into a house, and she died. This has been over 20-some years ago. And then they covered it up. They covered the fact of the matter that the police officers allowed this drunk driver to leave.
Right.
And they transferred him from uniform patrol to CID, or criminal investigation division, or burglary, and they transferred the other guy to a different location, and it ate him up. You know what I'm saying? And he snapped. You know what I'm saying? And held his family hostage. They talked him down, but man, how traumatic is that, right?
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think divorce is another mental health aspect in law enforcement. The divorce rate in law enforcement is extremely high. Now, in my personal opinion, I think, this is my from what I view for some of my officers that's going through divorces, I think they don't know how to say no. I think they put the job before their spouse. And that's my personal, I think that's some type of mental health. When you think the job is more important than your family, and your wife sees that, or your husband sees that, they get tired of that, man. What you guys think on the divorce rate in law enforcement?
Well, first of all, it has to be balanced.
Right.
You have to understand balance. So the divorce rate is high because there's no balance at home.
Right.
And so when you just start to make sure that the need supersedes your family,
right,
that everybody, you got to think that you have so many things coming at you on the police end of it.
Right.
I used to be in a special assignment of the community oriented policing, and we had a personal phone strictly for that. The phone never stopped ringing.
Right.
And so here it is. I'm trying to be with my wife, phone ringing.
Right.
Let's go out, phone ringing. Something goes on, phone ringing. And so you reach the point where it's like, you know what? What's more important than the balance? So what people have to do is set the time frame to say, between these hours, I'm strictly you.
Right.
I'm strictly family.
Right.
I'm not even going to pick up my phone during this time.
Right.
And then once we understand that, and officers understand that, it's called safe boundaries.
Right.
Set those boundaries up that you are in a safe space, and it protects your spouse and your family.
Yeah, and I need to take advice on that, because you preaching to me. Seriously, you preaching to me, because
you're addicted
my phone,
to the job.
Yeah, I'm addicted to the job. My phone, and then in the new position I'm in, my phone is constantly ringing. Between the mayor, the city manager, the chief, officers, my phone is in some citizens, and then I'm over this. I told you I'm over the expansion that we're doing for this other city, so their management staff calling me as well. And my wife, she gets pissed.
Yeah,
you can't turn it off. You know what I'm saying, and then I'm instantly I'm angry. You know what I'm saying, I'm angry. You know, and I go into myself. Mm-hmm. And I'm not explaining to her what's going on. So we're dealing with that. And I'll be personal. Yeah, I'll be personal. I'm on my third marriage.
Right.
You know, I went through 2 other marriages as a police officer, and would I say that was directly related? I believe so. I believe it had a lot of relation to me not being married anymore to them.
Right.
You know, but you preaching to me, and look, we try to give you guys fruit for the soul, but I just got fruit for my soul, because I need to learn how to, you know, compartmentalize those things and spend time with my wife, you know, unencumbered. You know what I mean?
I ask you this, like, I understand you're a supervisor, but you just like, And I understand stuff got to be done. Stuff happens when you off duty, but at times you just not, hey, not today. They don't have like an on-call person. They can't get in contact with you.
What I do, no. Because what I do is a little bit different than most. You know what I mean? Because usually I'd have, and I probably need an assistant. That's probably what I'll look into actually as we discuss this now. That I probably have to put somebody in that place because I do need that time.
Right.
I do need that time because even my phone's been going off all day.
Right.
Even sitting here with this, I've gotten several calls.
Correct.
So yeah, I need to.
Right.
Yeah, I need to because that's going to save the sanctity of my home and my sanity.
Right.
Because I ain't gonna lie, and I'm a man, but I mean. One day, maybe it's been a few months, I was sitting at my house, I was sitting at the bar, and I just broke down crying. They don't know why.
Right.
I just broke down
I've done
crying.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
I've done that.
And I said, what's wrong?
See?
Yeah.
See? So, yeah, I'm with you 100% in transparency. You know, I'm on my third marriage.
Right.
And before me and my wife got married, I had made it very clear. I said, baby, I got to make sure I'm right so I don't mess you up. And she was like, that was deep. I said, because I was so quick to leave. So the first two marriages, I had no business getting married. It was just, I told people it was my fault because I had no business being with them.
Right.
And then when I get with my soulmate, I had to make sure I checked myself. So I wouldn't walk away because she even said that she was on stitches our first couple years of marriage because I divorced my exes, and the slightest thing you do, I'm out.
Right.
I don't have time. I'm gone.
Right.
And so I had to learn patience. And, and that spiritual aspect does come into play because, number one, your health depends on it.
Right.
Because if you got so many people pulling you, it's like, hey, look, I always tell people, count the cost. Is it worth me, say, even going to higher positions because, new levels, new devils.
Right.
These are the things I need in place to make sure I don't jeopardize my family in the process of moving forward. And then that balance, man, will overall be better for you mentally, spiritually, and holistically. Right. Where what I've seen is people who move up the ladder, their health is affected. Just because of the need to serve everyone else. Right. You've forgotten to serve yourself. Ain't nothing wrong with serving yourself first. You'll get to them. Yeah. It's okay to service you.
You preaching, brother. You preaching. And I accept it. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
And real quick, guys, I got a little bit more time. Y'all mofos need to help me out because I want to know. Y'all got 3 marriages, man. I was trying to have, this is my first and only, hopefully. Y'all give me a piece of advice what not to do.
Man, just don't stop communicating. That is the biggest, communication is the biggest key, right? And treat her first. One of my biggest issues is I go into myself and I don't give her the love she wants.
Word.
Learn and know her love languages and make sure you adhere to that.
What about you, bro?
I echo that. Love language. Do you know your wife's love language?
Oh, most definitely.
And that's key because when those situations come about, that love language has to be put in place. And number one, though, this is what's deep. When is the last time you and your wife did a love language test? How do you know it's the same that was 13 years ago? So we all change, we all evolve, we all become different because my wife and I take the test once every other year, and we realize when we first got together, it might have been physical touch and acts of service, but now it's become quality time and words of affirmation. Talk to me, somebody. I didn't want to preach today, but you're starting to get me go into a message, but I'm just telling you that you have to now consistently feed the process, and it will recreate your marriage all over again to make it exciting and beautiful.
Well, I'm gonna have to say then I need to rethink my wife's love language. That's a great idea.
I didn't think about that. I'm about to work on that when I get home.
Absolutely.
You're looking out, bro.
100%.
Teach it, baby. Teach it.
Guys, you watching another classic
300%.
episode of the Black Shield Podcast. Dre, take us out, baby.
Hey, once again, it's always family with brother Xcalibur from South Carolina and my main man, brother Rasheed, the Lightford. And I am brother Dre with Curse Breakers 300. And as usual, we go out like this. We're not here to take sides. We are here to save lives.